What's going on, guys? This is Bobby Douglas, and this is just part two of the Aaron Henry full game breakdown. So let's get right into it. He's going to be number 0 in the white. You can see Michigan State decides to start the half by slapping the floor, which is an interesting choice. But alas, we are here in the second half. They're up by 15. You can see Purdue had a pretty dreadful offensive first half, only scored 16 points. But yeah, that's just the type of Big Ten basketball that we've been accustomed to seeing over the past few years. So with that, we got Travion Williams missing that little jump hook to start the half, and here comes Joey Hauser, but he's going to get fouled. So obviously the main drawing point with Aaron Henry, as we discussed in the first half, is his defense, is his perimeter defense primarily, just because at 6'6", 210, he's strong, he moves his feet well. On the ball, he really pressures tight, makes ball handlers uncomfortable. And overall, he's just very difficult to displace, right? Because he's so strong, he can run through screens. He has good quickness overall, and so that allows him to kind of be just a nuisance defensively, but he's also a very disruptive defender, averaged over a steal and a block per game. And yeah, that's just something that not a lot of guys can do in college basketball. Aaron Henry did it, and he was 1.3 on each, so he was pretty comfortably over the 1-1 threshold, if you will. But yeah, so that's just kind of something what Aaron Henry's going to bring, just perimeter defense, stout perimeter defense. And for that reason, he should get minutes on an NBA floor early in his career, assuming he gets to the right situation. But again, we talked about how he just kind of, you can see right here, he's just kind of pummeling through that screen, gets around it right there. And again, he's just right on Sasha Stefanovic, not letting him do anything with the ball. That was off a switch too. And again, Travion Williams is going to get that and one right there. But you're just kind of seeing the overall effort level that he gives. And again, we talked about how in the first half, he can get sometimes a little bit lackadaisical. He'll let cutters go behind him. He'll overhelp, leading to easy layups for his man. But overall, just like when he's locked in and chasing his man and just kind of sticking to his man, very, very good defender. Probably one of the better ones in this draft class. And here we go. Here's Aaron Henry on the ball. Looks like we're going to drive. And again, so we talked about a little bit. We didn't really see it on display a whole lot, but we talked a little bit about how his passing, I think, is really underrated. I think he's actually a very good passer. I think he has great vision. And again, when he gets downhill, he's really good at picking out open players, right? This is a good example of it right here. And again, this is going to be with his right hand, which I think is really impressive. This is his offhand. Obviously, he shoots with his left. But this is like a really good pass. It's just a little bit high, but I think 22 should have come down with it. But again, I like the vision that he shows. And again, kind of just in that slasher mold. We talked about the Jimmy Butler comparisons just in terms of how he plays, not really his ceiling or anything like that. But in terms of how he plays, I think that's a very decent comp for me. Just a guy who can put pressure on the rim at times, has a decent handle offensively, but he just doesn't really have the jump shot right now, and that's ultimately going to be a question. You can see right there, that one gets deflected, but you can just kind of see just how slow it is off the catch, right? And he needs to improve this if he's going to be viable on an NBA floor, because this is way too slow to get off. He catches it up here, it has to come down and then back up, and then it's still a low release point, right? That's going to get swatted every single time, you could see, because most players are getting that shot off pretty easily, right? And Aaron Henry, that's something that he definitely needs to work on, and that's probably the biggest thing holding him back from being a first-round pick, right? And again, he's probably not going to be called upon to shoot, but if you're an NBA wing, you got to be ready to do that, or else you're just a nothing offensively. Teams can play off you. It just slows down the entire team, basically, and you won't get minutes, right? No matter how good your defense is, right? And we'll see what he does right here. Aaron Henry on the drive. Good job drawing a foul and getting baseline. But you can just kind of see just how the lack of shooting could really hurt an offensive flow. We've seen it all the time in the playoffs, too. We've seen guys get benched in the playoffs because they just can't hit an open three. We saw how devastating it was for the Thunder, right, when, Lou Dort wasn't shooting, right? And then he starts shooting. He gets 7 in Game 7 or whatever, right, and it's all as well. But they in the playoffs and things like that, they will game plan against you. You know what I mean? No matter your role, anywhere an opponent can find an advantage, they'll take advantage of it. And Aaron Henry, I think, is susceptible to being played off the floor just because he can't hit an open three. And that catch and shoot, that needs to get faster if he really wants to kind of stick in this league, because he's going to be a good defender. He's a good slasher, really strong, good athlete, right? But if he can't shoot, it's going to be really, really difficult for him to get minutes early on. And probably, again, late first, early second is probably his trajectory overall. You can see Izzo kind of arguing with the refs right there. But we're back. And you can see just watch Henry again. Right there, he actually kind of got hung up on that screen. That looked like a moving screen a little bit, but turnover for Purdue. But no, yeah, I mean, like Aaron Henry, I think he could be late first. I probably think the earliest I see him going is most likely 30 to Utah, just because he feels such a need for them. I was actually I don't want to give too much away, but like in a few hours from when this is uploaded, there will be a mock draft with me, John McIntyre, and Bryce Hendricks, and I asked Bryce Hendricks, who's a Utah Jazz fan, what does he think about Aaron Henry to the Jazz at 30, and then he was kind of lukewarm on it, didn't really like the idea. He had some other guys in mind, but that's like I love getting his input just because he's like so just smart with that stuff. But just stay tuned for that video because that's gonna be a really fun one. You can see right there. So this is kind of a weird play, right? Because he kind of gets hit on this back screen by Edey. Well, let's rewind this entire thing, right? So you're going to see Aaron Henry has to chase Jaden Ivey. They ran something similar like this in the first half, right? Where I think it was, who was it? I think it was Brandon Newman. No, it was Jaden Ivey, actually. Jaden Ivey in the first half, right? He kind of came off this double screen along the baseline, right? And they're trying to dislodge Aaron Henry and get Ivey open on the strong side of the floor. So they're going to see that right here, right? So there's that first screen, second screen. Aaron Henry does a good job navigating it, right? Can't get anything open, and he's guarding Jaden Ivey, right? But then he kind of loses track of him because Edey sets a really nice back screen. Aaron Henry kind of gets caught off guard by it, and then look at the advantage right here, right? This should be an easy Ivy layup if you just pause it right here. But then, because Aaron Henry is so good in recovery, just watch this play. He just is able to block that shot, right? And then right there, he's playing good defense on the recovery, leads to a missed dunk, a technical foul actually on Zach Edey. But just the overall just recovery effort. I'll rewind it again right here. Just the recovery on that is really incredible, right? And that's like one of his biggest strengths, I would say. Sure, can he get himself into trouble defensively? Yeah, but he's also very good at getting himself out of trouble, right? And so sometimes, there's not really anything you can do, and you're going to need to make a solid recovery effort, and Aaron Henry just did that right there. I'm sure they're talking about it on the broadcast as we look at it right now. But, that's kind of like the Aaron Henry defense, right? And obviously, the perimeter, that's why I think he's such a good fit for the Jazz. I think for Brooklyn, if they can get into the early second round and nab him, I think that would be a great spot for him. Just teams that need defense, right? Teams where he won't be relied upon to provide any offense whatsoever. And again, if he can show that he maybe can hit an open shot, but again, right here, you're going to see the underrated passing ability, right? I'm telling you, people don't talk about this enough, right? Right here, he's going to drive baseline with his right hand. He's going to find a nice little pocket pass to Julius Marble for the easy dunk, right? Good ball fake right there. And again, very solid passer, I think. And again, if you can find a way to kind of use him as an off-ball cutter, honestly, maybe even put him in a short roll, right? Things like that. Be unique with how you're going to use Aaron Henry, and that's how you're going to get the most out of him, right? Maybe don't play him on the wing early. Maybe have him be what Bruce Brown does for Brooklyn, right? Things like that. Because I think there is some of that Draymond Green-ish thing in his game where he's a really good defender, solid passer, just can't really shoot. I think he has a better handle than Draymond. I think he's probably a better athlete too. But, teams just got to get creative with these types of guys because the talent is there, he is an NBA-ready defender. He's going to be out right here, I believe, actually, so I'll skip ahead. But, is he? No, he's not. He's actually in for a few more minutes. But he's an NBA-ready defender right now, and so I think in order for teams to get the most out of him, they need to be kind of creative in how they use him. I think that kind of goes for a lot of players, but specifically ones with, unique skill sets like Aaron Henry, right? Where, 6'6", but he's a really good on the defensive end, not a good shooter at all. But again, he's a solid passer too, so he kind of has some offensive game to him. He can slash, he can get to the rim, he can finish through contact because he's so strong. So yeah, just a lot of weird ways you can use Aaron Henry, I think. But assuming he kind of gets, right there, kind of gets lost on this screen. Again, Zach Edey's kind of giving him trouble as a screener just because he's so massive, right? It's kind of running into an oak tree, right? So again, he kind of gets lost on this curl action. But yeah, not really much you can do with that, you know. But probably could have taken a better angle. But that's just nitpicking, I would say. And you'll see, I think they're going to try and get him to ball off this curl. Let's see what he does here. Looks like we got a moving screen, actually. And here we go. So here's Aaron Henry on Jaden Ivey, right? But then again, you see it like right here, right? This is what we talked about in the first half, right? Just these weird, like, you're supposed to think that they're uncharacteristic defensive lapses, but they really aren't uncharacteristic because he does this shit all the time, which I think is really fascinating considering how good of a defender he is on the ball and, like, chasing guys around screens. But he just seems to get caught ball watching or just kind of, like, doesn't even take a good angle in, like, the, like the ball you man thing, right? So just watch him right here. Like, he just gets caught ball watching and Jaden Ivey backdoors him, right? And you can see, like, right here, just, again, you're going to see him. He's going to get backdoored and then just watch him be like, huh? Like, where did he go, right? Like, just get a good look at Aaron Henry's face. It's like, where the fuck did he go? And then he's, like, Jaden Ivey's, like, wide open under the basket and Aaron Henry doesn't see him for, like, a solid few seconds, right? And so, again, like, that's kind of the frustrating part with Aaron, right? But overall, and again, right there doesn't box out, but the shot goes in. It's really hard to kind of just fault him on the defensive end outside of that because he's just so impressive in other areas, and he usually can get himself out of trouble, right? You can see him right there. Really nice job getting over that screen, right? Zach Edey kind of leg bumps in, but he recovers well. Good hedge by, I think, Marcus Bingham. And, Michigan State ball. Aaron Henry just providing solid, pesky, relentless defense on the perimeter. And here we got, I think this is A.J. Hogard running point. Let's see what we got. Here we got Rocket Watts on the floater. Can't get that one to go. Bingham can't get that one to go, but I think there's going to be a foul, and I believe, nope, he's still in for a little bit longer, I think. Skip ahead. Yeah, no, he's out right now, so I'll skip ahead to 103.03 when he comes back in. So right here. Then I believe he is in for the final 10:40 of the second half. So, and again, this will be a close game just because, like, Michigan State kind of blows it. Right there, solid job by Henry kind of hitting that trailer. We're going to get free throws here from Malik Hall, I think. And we'll skip these. So let's see who Aaron Henry's guarding. Looks like it's, again, Jaden Ivey, right, which I think is probably the smart matchup given that he's probably Purdue's most athletic player. And again, you can see him just kind of getting around those screens, right, just not really giving Ivey a whole lot of room to operate once he catches the ball. He's like a step or two behind, but again, because he's so good at recovering and kind of closing that gap quickly, it almost doesn't really matter. And so that's something I think, again, that's very NBA-esque of Aaron Henry, right? You can see right here, again, just saying it's hash to Ivey, can't get anything, right? Just right here, really nice job. Has a hand on him the entire way, right? And again, that takes away a little bit of Purdue's offense. Same thing right here, gets through that screen. Travion Williams had a really nice screen there, though. Kind of got him on that second effort, but overall, pretty solid possession, again, from Henry, right? But when Travion Williams sets a screen on you, like, it's going to be kind of tough to overcome that. Let's see what he does here. So right there, maybe got a little bit too, calm or, like, kind of complacent with the ball in his hands. Ivey gets the foul called on him, but, a little bit too close for comfort for my liking. We'll watch his free throws. And, again, you can see how low he gets, right? It's like he was probably told as, like, a young kid, like, hey, bend your knees, right? And he just kind of – he literally took that to heart because he bends his knees all right. That is something that he does very well. But, again, overall, like, it's a set shot. Like, a lot of times he'll have both feet parallel to the basket, especially, like, not on free throws, but just, like, in general when he's shooting, right? Where I, like, sometimes, he has to have his feet very set in place, right? You can't shoot off movement at all. Obviously, the catch and shoot thing is, like, a disaster right now, and he needs to improve on that, like, ASAP. We're going to get a legal screen right here. And here we go. But yeah, like, just, like, overall, like, I think the form needs revamping. There's going to be a lot of work for Aaron Henry with this shot. if it ever comes along, we don't really know. And we got a foul. I think free throws here. Nope, charge. But here's Aaron Henry again, just on. Now he's on Brandon Newman. And they're not really giving him a whole lot of room to operate. Much more locked in here on this possession. And let's see what he ends up doing right here. It doesn't look like anything's going to go his way. No, it's going to be Travion Williams. We're going to get another foul and one. Wow. Good play from Travion Williams. Oh, by the way, I think Purdue is going to be my title pick in 2022, just FYI. I am repping my Baylor shirt from this past year, obviously, because I picked them, if you didn't know. I was pretty much on the Baylor train the entire way, not to brag. But I think right now, if I had to pick a champion for 2022, it would definitely be the Purdue Boilermakers. Luckily, I kind of go to school in that area. I go to Notre Dame, so, it's like a 2-hour drive. I'm hopefully going to have a car in college this year, so then I'll be able to drive down to a bunch of Purdue games, see Jaden Ivey play and a bunch of their other players. And so I'm excited for that. I'm Notre Dame has a great home schedule this year. I get to see like Duke at Notre Dame, so that's like Paolo Banchero, all those Duke guys, Adrian Griffin Jr. So a lot of 2022 draft guys I'll get to see in person, which is going to be fun. So I'm excited for that. But just kind of a looking forward thing. I really like Purdue. If you want to put a future on them, I think the last time I saw them was at, let's see, right here, Aaron Henry actually did a really nice job. So this, fuck Purdue for a second here. Okay. So you can see Aaron Henry is tasked with zoning up the weak side, right? And what does that mean? That basically means usually what happens, right? Like if you guys don't know, like basketball, if you divide it like from the middle of the free throw line, like from half court, right? It's like dividing it in a vertical half, right? So basically strong side usually means like if the ball's on that side or if there's just like an overload on that side, right? So it's like 3 guys on one side, 2 guys on another, 3 guys strong side, 2 guys weak side, right? So basically what ends up happening in a lot of defensive schemes is that because like you'll see it right here. So you can see kind of Malik Hall is kind of cheating over, which means that I think this guy kind of has to cheat over too. And you can see it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4 Purdue guys versus 1, 2, 3 Michigan State guys, right? And so this guy who's furthest over to the weak side is kind of tasked with guarding this guy and this guy. And this is called zoning up the weak side, right? Basically, you have to be in kind of the middle of 2 people just so you can kind of at least get some sort of contest or, containment on the dribble drive or the shot, right? And so Aaron Henry does an awesome job of zoning up this weak side, right? He's active on the pass, and then he somehow manages to block that shot, right? And this is where, like, his overall, just his, recovery efforts, everything like that come in real, like, great, come in handy, right? And so, again, you can just see he's quick to react, and he somehow manages to block that shot out by the 3-point line, right? That's like Devin Vassell-like, right? Just a really impressive play from Henry right there. And that definitely deserves a lot more love, I would say. That's an awesome play. But yeah, again, just kind of showing you that when he's locked in, right, and he's kind of like paying attention off the ball, he can be a really, really just overall solid defender because he's already so good on that end. But just the lapses can kind of kill him at times. And so if he kind of just can control those, like all of a sudden, like he's kind of like a lockdown guy, right? Like he is like all NBA defense potential, I think, right? And that's obviously a very high ceiling outcome. But again, just kind of like showing you like the optimistic side of, Aaron Henry as a prospect. That play, I think, really does a great job summing up his impact and I guess his potential impact in the NBA. Right there, he's going to draw another foul. Again, good job kind of attacking off of that pin down. Again, just getting right through that curl into that jump stop, drawing the foul. He's going to be shooting free throws on the other end of this break. And we got, let's see. And here's Aaron Henry. Again, you can see 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Makes that first free throw, make it 9 points. And then here will be, I think, maybe 10. Yep, gets that one to go as well. But you see the shot is very just like fundamental. It's almost like too fundamental. It's too mechanical, right? It doesn't really look smooth at all. And again, I've told you guys about the shot. I'm not, like I don't need to keep harping on it. And we'll see what we got here. Again, Aaron Henry kind of in that weak side area, and Purdue's going to hit that three. Big shot by them. And here we go. So again, now we have Henry coming off of a little wheel action. He's going to get the ball empty side for him, isolation, Aaron Henry. Like, this is pretty ugly. Not going to lie. It's like a pull up, step in 3-point shot. And again, I don't really think he has that range consistently. You know, he takes some of these shots in the mid range and they look a lot more comfortable. They go in a lot more. We saw a few of those in the first half. But like right here, this just does not look pretty, right? Just there's really no follow through. You could tell it was a miss the second he released it, probably even before he released it. It's a bad miss. And again, you notice how he has to get his feet totally set, right? He doesn't have a flexible release whatsoever. It's a slow release. That's a really nice drive by Newman right there. Not much Henry could do about that. But again, you kind of just see the passing of Aaron Henry right here. You're going to see really nice, weak, kind of like a skip pass. Not really executed properly, but, you know, it gets there. Rocket Watts can't finish that one, though. But again, the vision is there for Aaron Henry. But yeah, just like that 3-point shot looked ugly. And so, again, that really needs to be cleaned up. You know, like he might spend a year in the G League just working on shooting, right, and just revamping his form. Because I think it needs like kind of like a complete overhaul the more I watch it. Let's see what we got here. Aaron Henry weak side, or strong side, excuse me. And we got a rebound for Michigan State. Rocket Watts can't get that to go. We've got a foul here. And here we go. So again, Aaron Henry on Brandon Newman. Let's see what happens here. And yeah, you can see him just kind of like following him around, not really letting him get into a position to catch the ball. If he, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's actually kind of funny. So when I played travel soccer, we used to have this play, not really a play, but it's more like a strategy, right? So if one guy was just like killing us, right, and like he was just like super good, like super just like skilled, whatever, you know, he was just like a scoring threat every single time he touched the ball. And this is in soccer, by the way, so like scoring once kind of means more, right? Our coach would call out apples 10, let's say, right, and 10 being the number, and apples basically meant our best defensive player would literally just like chase him around the entire game and not let him touch the ball, right? And I think Aaron Henry is kind of like the Apples defender, right? You know, just kind of the guy, if you want somebody to just kind of harass a team's best player, right? You know, just kind of, you know, not let them touch the ball for an extended amount of times, be in their grill. You know, I think you're calling Aaron Henry's number out, right? And so I think that's something that he can do really well. Just as kind of like doesn't even have to be like all the time, but just kind of like giving him like spot minutes as a defender where he could just make someone's life miserable for like 10 to 15 minutes even. You know what I mean? Just those types of plays where I think Aaron Henry can really shine early in his career. But yeah, just kind of like an Apples defender, right? I'm probably gonna title this video like Apples, like, or like Aaron eats his I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something stupid. And then when you get to this point in the video, comment apples below. And then I will know that you guys got this far in the video. And you guys know what I mean. Let's see what we got right here. Aaron Henry on the ball. Not much going on. Good job. Good recognizing that switch right here by Henry, right? So you can see Malik Hall is kind of caught in no man's land. He doesn't know whether or not to double Travion Williams. Travion Williams, because he's so massive and he's being guarded by Joey Hauser, who... it's a mismatch, to say the least. Malik Hall kind of has to be on the lookout for Travion, right? But just watch how seamlessly Aaron Henry kind of takes that post guy, right? Granted, he has no position on him, right? You know, he's not basket side, whatever. But I do appreciate that recognition from Henry, I would say. Let's see what we got right here. Not much going on. And let's slow it down, Michigan State. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, come on. And again, you can see the score right now. It's 45-43. So, like, my guess is that the under cashed out pretty heavily. But, yeah. And again, Henry's going to set a screen. Again, has a pretty wide frame. So, I think, again, like try using him in different roles. Try using him as like a screener. Try using him into the short role, right? Maybe have him get to that floater because he actually does kind of have like a good mid-range float game. Just things like that. Put him in positions to succeed, and I think he will, make the most out of those positions. Right here, he's applesing, or he was applesing, appling. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but like he was, appling Brandon Newman for a second there. But again, just like an elite guy chasing people around screens. I think that's probably one of his best, like, kind of like unique skills. We always talk about that, like, where it's, like, what's the best individual skill that you've seen in a prospect, right? And, like, I know last year people said, like, oh, LaMelo's ball is like transition passing, blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't say it's Aaron Henry chasing people around screens, but I would say it's probably, like, top 15, right? I think it's, like, that good, and it's just so, like, Purdue, because their offense is so, like, dependent on that, right? Aaron Henry's kind of having to run around a shit ton, and he's doing a really nice job staying in front and staying attached. We got free throws right here, so we will skip these, and here we go. Final 2:48, 2:45 now in the second half. You can see Michigan State's up by 5, so, it'll be interesting to see how they blow this game. I think it's actually a pretty funny finish, but, yeah, you can see right there, again, Aaron Henry just staying attached to his guy, right? Let's see what he does here. But Travion Williams has other ideas. Let's see. So we got Aaron Henry. So now this is where he kind of like wants to take over, right? So again, that's another thing with Aaron Henry too. Like, we talked about it like with Cade Cunningham. We talked about it with Io. Where like the role he was playing at Michigan State, that's not his comfort zone, right? Here at Michigan State this year, they lose Cassius Winston, they lose Xavier Tillman. Like, he kind of has to become, like, the ball-dominant guy. He has to become the go-to scorer, like, kind of getting his teammates involved, right? Be the best defender on the other end, right? That's a lot of responsibility for a guy who really isn't that skilled, you know what I mean? And so, just from a shooting standpoint, you know what I mean? And so, I do appreciate kind of, like, the effort that he gave in that regard, But I do think at the same time, he was probably like this was probably above his pay grade, right? Just his overall role at Michigan State. And I'm not saying he's the reason why they struggled, because they had a lot of issues on this team. And they didn't really get they didn't get help from where they should have. Like Rocket Watson didn't have a great year. Joey Hauser didn't have a great year. Josh Langford was kind of iffy, right? Like this Michigan State team wasn't really that talented. But like I think Aaron Henry being their best player is kind of indicative of that in a way, right? Not saying that it's his fault, but I'm also like acknowledging that that's part of the like issue for Michigan State this past year. He got that rebound off the free throw, and I think Hogarth's gonna be at the free throw line, and he's gonna, I think maybe made 1 or 2, I don't know. And here we go. So let's see what we got. Again, Henry just staying attached through all those screens. Like, look at how many screens he has to run through, right? And again, he's doing a really nice job. We got a foul on the ground here, I think, on Joey Hauser. And we got more free throws here. And here we go. Final minute 20. Let's see what Aaron Henry does. We got a timeout. And come on, here we go. Here we go. Okay. And that could have been a backcourt violation. Almost was. And here we go. Let's see what Aaron Henry does here. And again, that's just like, again, just kind of like get him like off these little curls, right? And I get that like this is never going to happen in the NBA where they're like having a guy curl back into the lane, right? But again, have him be a short roll guy. Like get him to that floater spot, because honestly, he has decent touch around the rim when he doesn't have to do his like shitty jump shot, right? Like right there, that's a pretty big shot and a really key moment, right? And again, you can see like they want to get him the ball in these moments where, the game's on the line, where they need a bucket, right? And yeah, like right there, like that floater I think is kind of legit. And you can see right there, just really good denial from Henry around those screens. Right, again, just like in people's grill, not really giving him any inch. That could have been a backcourt violation, actually. And we got a timeout here, 39 seconds left. This is where it gets weird, FYI. Like, this is like one of the weirder just final 40 seconds of a game that I've seen this year. Just be warned. It's very funny how it happens. But yeah, we'll just watch it. So again, right here, again, so he's had a overall pretty good half defensively, right? And just this stuff, like, he's gonna get caught ball watching, right? So again, you can see him watch the ball, and then watch what Brandon Newman, number 5, does right here. Look at this. Like, granted, I know like nothing's gonna happen here, but honestly, like, if this guy gets around Joey Hauser, it's almost like a hammer action, right? Where, it's like a point guard will drive towards the baseline and make this kind of like cross baseline pass to the weak side corner right here. And then Aaron Henry's totally out of position. Then he figures it out, right? But luckily, it actually kind of led to a hammer action. Aaron Henry is able to recover once again, primarily because the Purdue pass, he threw like a hospital ball, right? But Aaron Henry, again, kind of in the right place at the right time, despite getting lost earlier in the possession, right? And again, we talk about that, like that recovery ability, the second effort, and that's something that I think he does really well. And I think we're going to get, let's see what happens here. So they're going to have to foul, looks like. They're probably going to foul Aaron Henry. Yep. And let's see what he does at the line here. I think he's going to make one, miss one. You can see 81.8 at that point in the season. That dropped to 76%. So, makes that first one. Let's see what he does here. And can't get that one to go. So, okay, just still, though, like, Michigan State's up by 4 with, like, 15 seconds left, right? This should be a walk in the park. Got a foul here. All right, so that's going to be 2 shots. Eric Hunter Jr. is going to make the first one. He's going to make the second one. Okay. Jaden Ivey's going to come in. And here we go, Michigan State ball. 11.9 seconds left. They can't get the ball to Aaron Henry. And it's going to be deflected out of bounds. And it's going to be Purdue ball. Okay. So, and Izzo's going to be like, losing his shit on the sideline. They're going to review it, obviously. It's going to take, like, another decade. Like, by the time this review's over, the Ice Age will be back. Like, all this stuff. Right? It's still going on. Blah, blah, blah. Like, let's keep going. Tick-tock. Yeah, nobody's in a rush. And here we go. Purdue ball, right? Aaron Henry almost got a deflection on it, but he gets a foul called on him, right? And again, like, this is overall good effort, right? So you can see Henry, again, has to chase Newman around. And again, like, Williams had a pretty good, like, look at the basket. Couldn't really control it. Henry just kind of gets caught reaching, right? He's going to draw a foul. Travion is. He's going to go to the line. You can see he's a 47% free throw shooter on the year. He is going to make the first one. Second one now. Again, 9.8 seconds left. Timeout, Michigan State. And here we go. Under 10 seconds left. Zach Edey, it's a scramble for the ball, right? Like, a few seconds go off, and it's going to be a jump ball, right? I feel like I'm Scott Van Pelt on bad beats right now. Like, that's what I kind of feel like. So you can see we got another timeout. And it's going to be Purdue ball with 6.4 seconds left. Travion Williams is going to get that floater to go. Aaron Henry wasn't really involved in that play. Here comes Michigan State. Henry's going to get a decent look. Can he finish it? No, he cannot. And that's how Purdue wins this game. Final score, 55-54. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But whatever. With that, that ends the Aaron Henry video breakdown. Again, kind of the game took over a little bit. Aaron Henry wasn't really involved outside of missing that free throw at the end and getting that foul called on him, which, again, like, kind of ticky-tack, but again, like, should you be reaching there? I don't know, right? Part of me wants the refs to let him play, but whatever. But yeah, that was Aaron Henry's breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the mock draft that's coming out in like a few hours from now, so just stick around for that. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. And yeah, we will see you soon for the next breakdown. Bye.